cowling is really easy. It just snaps into place. I'd probably use a plastic screwdriver to get it off so you don't scratch this. But it's in. Hopefully that helps with the 2015 Juke. And yeah. Good luck, guys, because I've never seen a video for this yet. Heated seats. You got two little connectors. Okay, brown, white. You look on the bottom. There is brown and white. Click them in, flip it over, snap it in place. Okay, the center console. I've got it off. I'm going to show you how to put it on. You got to make sure that your e-brake is pulled up as far as you can go so you have enough room to get it over top of the lip. The shifter is still in neutral. Fit it up, fit it in. Look tight, but once it's in, it should just snap into place. Okay. Go forward a little bit. There we go. And it's in. And like I said, it just snaps in. Just make sure you go around and push everything on. And then there's one little cowl that has to go on here. Okay, before we put the center console back on, or take off, do remember to pull this thing out. Okay, and notice I put it in from the bottom side because these are two for your heated seats. The back cowling just snaps off when you're taking it off, and it should just snap right back in when you want to put it back on. The center cowling that goes over top of all of this is one piece. You just got, it's a little bit tough to get over top of the e-brake, and you got to make sure that you're in neutral when you do this so you have enough room, and then it just snaps into place. Next, there's the two top Phillips screws that connect the plastic together, as well as the Torx screws on the sides and the Phillips screws going into the back. When you're pulling this apart, this is actually two pieces. Once you get the side screws out, which are Torx, then you have two Phillips screws that go in the back. This thing, if you lift up on the back here, it'll pop right out. Then the bevel comes out much easier. You got to be careful though that portion fits over top of the metal and that you hook it on the front when you're putting it back together. When working from the back seat, make sure you move both the back front seats forward so you have access to the screws down underneath here. There will be two Torx screws and two Phillips screws once you get this thing off. I'll explain that in just a second. Next, you want to pull off the two Torx screws that are sitting here and here. The front clip, or the front bevel, just pulls off from this side. Pull that off, and then there's a small little clip that goes on the front here through this hole. Once you pull these off, undo that, pull that off, the entire side comes off. So again, Torx on the front. Don't have to do them too tight. And then of course, Phillips on the top. And again, they don't have to be overly tight. They're just nice and snug. Now with your shifter in neutral, whether you do it with the key lock here on your new one, pop that little button, push down, it'll snap back into neutral. You do not need to remove this knob to do all of this, just so everybody knows. The cowling comes as one piece, okay? You have to fit it over your shifter, forward, so you can get your e-brake on. And then it just basically fits into place, okay? Now there are two, you have to make sure that fits on there. That's the key point. Just make sure that fits over top of your shifter. Then there's two bolts, one here, one here. This is a Torx, this is a Robertson. No, Phillips, sorry. This is a Phillips. On the back, there are 2 more bolts back here and here that I will show you when I get to them. Right now I'm just going to put those 2 on both sides. So a 2015 Juke. My wife had the lock that was not functioning when you hit the brake to pull it into neutral. So we know that inside of here, the solenoid valve was faulty. So I got this from an auto wrecker, and I pulled everything apart, and I thought I'd make this video so that people understand how easy it is actually to replace this. A couple of things that you want to keep in mind. The shifter cable here, this just snaps out. You can grab this and pull it straight up. The knob that's in here that the shifter's connected to, you want to make sure you grab the small rubber ring on the inside. When you pop this off with a screwdriver, because it just pops straight out, when you pop it off, there's a little black ring that goes over top of the metal nub. Make sure that is popped out and you put it back on your shifter cable before you try and reinstall, otherwise you will have a heck of a time getting it on. You will require this, which is basically a zip tie. Stick a small screwdriver in on the end, undo it. This line will pop off. Cut the electrical tape here and here for this one. You're going to need that little clip. It's really easy. Once you get this entire thing out, there's 4 10mm bolts. Once you pull this thing out, turn it over, you'll be able to get this clip off. You can retape it back on. This, just leave it on, pop it out, put it on your new one, and then put it all back together. Don't forget this clip here, your electrical clip. And like I said, I will go backwards and show you how to tear this thing apart.